Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. And good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Now, today there's there's some good news coming through in the true crime world anyway. You may have watched, if you've not watched yet, I just made a short video about the fact that Madeleine Kingsbury, her ex-partner Adam, has been found guilty on all counts of her murder. So he's going to go down for a long, long time. That's a bittersweet moment, isn't it? It's great that he's been found guilty, that, Madeleine's family have he hasn't sort of slipped off the hook. But of course, it's still so, so sad because at the end of the day, Madeleine is not coming back. It made me very emotional making that video. God knows how they feel. I mean, I'm just some sort of woman on a computer doing a video about Madeleine, but I do get involved in these cases. I get what's the word I'm looking for? I start to sort of feel as if I know these people, even though obviously I didn't know Madeleine, but I spent so much time making videos about her while she was being searched for, and research, etc., that I do feel like I knew her, even though I didn't know her. But anyway, and I will be making a longer video again as like a tribute to Maddie and the fact that he's been finally sort of convicted or found guilty. And when it comes up that the sentence is given, though I can't see how the sentence could be anything but life in prison without parole. What else can it be? And he's apparently going to appeal it, which of course he would, being the twonk that he is. But anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, it was emotional in a sort of a, in a good way in one way, but also a very sad way, isn't it? And I expect goodness knows how Maddie's family feel. My heart goes out to them. And also his family, his sister, who watched that video where she was, convinced that it was, oh no, he couldn't possibly have done it. And, and I believe his father has got cancer, and, it'd be horrible for his mother. So there's a whole more victims there, not only Maddie, the children losing their mum and their dad, Maddie's family losing Maddie, and then also Adam's family losing him and losing, having that face that their son was capable of that. So, he's a real twonk. It's the pain is caused to everyone, including his own family, including his own children, and probably including himself. I mean, I don't know. As I said in the video, I just hope every night when he goes to sleep in that prison cell, Maddie comes and her face haunts him. I just hope to God that's what happens, because that'll be punishment for him as well. So that happened, and that was good. Now, then, Giant Prick Pastor, so this is the case that I'm really here to talk about tonight, or the twonk that I'm really here to talk about tonight. Because we don't really know what the case is, if there is any, against John Paul Miller. Well, there's obviously something, because he's been arrested. He's been arrested for assault. Let's have a look at his. And he, of course, is the husband of Micah Miller, though she was divorcing him, wasn't she? Well, Micah Miller, another lovely soul, looks a bit like Madeleine, I think. They look similar. She had the temerity as well to want to leave Giant Prick Pastor, didn't she? And so he made her life a misery. He stalked her. He threatened to put nude photos of her on Facebook. In fact, I think he did put some up there, because they're quite. Micah was very sort of spiritual, wasn't she? Religious and that. And they followed they had the congregation at the Solid Rock Church. He embarrassed her by sending out emails to her. I mean, he did a lot of horrible things to Micah, who was already vulnerable, if you like, mentally vulnerable, wasn't she? 30 years old. And then it seems, you know, because a lot of people aren't convinced that Micah did take her own life. She went off one day to a pawn shop, bought a gun, went off to a national park type place, and shot herself. Phoned 911 first of all, told them that she was going to do it, told them that she just wanted her family to know where she was so they weren't looking for her body. And then, you know, that was it. And then the police went along and they found her deceased. But there's obviously a lot of controversy about, was anybody else involved in Micah's death? Was this giant prick involved in it? You know, but the police couldn't find any evidence. The police declared it as self-deletion, and that was it. And then the family seemed to come to some sort of agreement with Giant Prick, and because they were both suing, you know, he was suing them, he blamed them for Micah's death, and they blamed him, and you know, it's just an awful situation. And, you know, Giant Prick, he's the guy who says he's a man of God. He's a man of God. You know, he was doing these sermons at the Little Rock Church and, sorry, they're not the Little Rock Church, the Solid Rock Church. Anyway, I don't think he'll be doing any now because here he is. This is his mugshot. He's been arrested today. Now, there's been rumblings, hasn't there? You know, that for quite a long time about maybe that John Paul was involved in things that maybe shouldn't have been involved with. And then the FBI raided his home. That was just the other day, isn't it? It's been, you know, one thing after another. And but he said, you know, he said earlier on, he's always said, oh, you know, I'm not guilty of anything. I've not done anything wrong, blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, blah. But obviously he has done something wrong because he's been arrested. Oh, my dog's trying to get a little cuddle here. All right. So there you go, 6'2", 160 pounds, 45 years old, male, white, arrested. So what's he been arrested for? Well, apparently assault. Whether it's domestic assault, we don't even know if it's to do with Micah, or I don't think we know. I've not had much time to look into it properly because, well, I was working, and then that came out about Maddie and Adam's guilty verdict. So I got sort of swept up in that. And of course, another thing that's happened that I just want to tell you about, though I'm not planning to talk about it now, but we're maybe at the end of this video when we've talked about Giant Prick. Riley, get down. My dog wants cuddle. Is in the UK, because of course this is in America, as was the Maddie Kingsbury case. In the UK, human remains have been found in Bristol, which, if anybody doesn't know, Bristol is where Jack O'Sullivan went missing. So again, I haven't had much time to look at it properly. I don't know if these human remains have been found in, because Bristol's a big place, of course. I don't know if they've been found in the area where Jack was last seen. But of course, it doesn't matter in a way, because if foul play happened to Jack, of course, he could have been taken anywhere, couldn't he, to any part of Bristol. I don't know how long these remains have been there. You know, we've only got sketchy details at the moment. But yes, so it's all happening. You know, it's that's what seems to happen, doesn't it? Is that going to be a third thing? I mean, it's not just this, is it? But if those human remains are Jack's, I expect the police. I expect whatever the police must have and pray, because of course Jack's mum, Kathy, she was saying that the police haven't been that communicative with her. But surely once human remains were found, I know that when the suitcases with the human remains were found near Bristol, near the bridge in Bristol, the police immediately went and spoke to Jack O'Sullivan's mum and put her mind at rest that it wasn't him in those suitcases. Do you remember the suitcases that were found with human remains? And it was those poor guys, that couple. But anyway, it wasn't Jack. So, but they immediately liaised with Kathy. Now, I would imagine that, again, the police will be keeping Kathy informed. I had a look on the Facebook page, the Jack O'Sullivan Facebook page, and couldn't see anything yet. So, I mean, maybe it isn't him. I'm not saying it is him, but it's, you know, I suppose any time, at the end of the day, Jack is missing. And if they found human remains, well, it could just as likely be Jack as anybody else. But we don't even know if it's a man or a woman yet. We don't know how long these remains are thought to have been there, etc. Found by a dog walker again. So we'll be looking at that at the end of this. But first of all, we're going to be looking about what's happened with what we know so far, or what about John Paul Miller, or giant prick pastor, as I call him, because I think we're all thinking that whatever, he either pushed Micah to suicide, or maybe it wasn't a suicide. You know, a lot of people think it wasn't. So, you know, people are still thinking there's something suspicious about it, even though the police have said no, there isn't. So I'm just going to say hello to everyone before I start looking at that, actually. Hi, David. Yeah, it does. He looks totally peed off, doesn't it? It's a shame, isn't it? Is it because he's so full of himself, isn't he? Every time I've seen him being interviewed, he's so full of himself. So it's quite good to see him like that. Like, yeah, not very happy. Suddenly he doesn't want the attention, because normally he loves the attention, doesn't he? Hi, Kelly. Hi, BF. Hi, Lorna. Hi, Angel. Oh, I'm sorry to hear you're having a bad day, Angel. Sorry to hear that. Yes, hopefully we can cheer you up a bit by talking about true crime. But, you know, it's like you say, you've been with the community, and, you know, although, you know, true crime is not exactly a cheerful subject in lots of ways, is it? But some good news today, because that is good news. I mean, at the end of the day, it is good news when people get found guilty, when they are guilty of things, and justice is served. And it is definitely good news to see John Paul Miller, who, whatever he is or he isn't, and whether he had anything to do with Micah's actual death, you know, directly, he's not a nice person. You know, he's an absolute twonk. Now, I heard as well, oh, sorry, I haven't finished saying hello to it. I did say hello to Lorna. Oh, hi, KW. Oh, my voice is soothing. Oh, good. I can send anyone to sleep, KW. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Katrina. Yeah, I can always send people off to sleep. So yeah, if you need to sleep, you just listen to one of my videos. So yeah, because I heard that there was something about young people, you know, that something about the young people's part of the church that was closed down. Anyway, it's all a bit speculation at the moment. We don't know things for certain. So it is a developing story. So we don't know the full story yet. But I'm going to tell you what I know. Now then, a couple of videos that have come out on Twitter. Let's have a look, or on X. Where are they? Gosh, it feels like whenever I go sort of scroll down Twitter at the moment, there's all, like a million things that I want to talk about. But obviously, I can't talk about everything. But let's have a look. So again, another interesting thing's just come up there when I'm having a look down. Anyway, I've got to be selective because media. Let's have a look at this. So apparently he's posted bond. Let's have a look at what they've got to say on Twitter about him. So according to Red Rum Media, it appears John Paul Miller has posted his own surety bond of $776. If he hasn't been released from jail yet, it will be coming soon. So, yeah, I mean, he probably, well, he is out as far as I know. He is out because we've seen a video that I'm going to look for. Look at his face. Yeah, he does look really peed off. No bond. It says no bond. So has he not been allowed out then? No bond. Awaiting trial, no bond. Does that mean he's still in prison then? Sorry, I'm at a chat. I'm literally looking at this for the first time, just like you are, because I haven't had time to research it properly because I wanted to get that video out about Maddie Kingsbury. It says next court date December the 10th. Assault and battery, 3rd degree. You know, that's a serious offence, isn't it? So a person commits the offence of assault and battery in the 3rd degree if the person unlawfully injures another person or offers or attempts to injure another person with the present ability to do so. Oh, look. So Robbie Harvey, oh, look, he looks really peed off there. Surprised he hasn't got his Spider-Man suit on. You know, where's your Spider-Man suit? He looks very dejected, doesn't he? Has he lost the plot, I wonder? So, according to sources, more charges may be coming. John Paul Miller has allegedly assaulted a police officer also. Well, that's not going to go down well, is it? I noticed he's put on a little bit of timber, hasn't he? I noticed that a few pictures that I saw of him yesterday and the day before. He's put on quite. I don't think he could fit in his Spider-Man suit now. That's a shame, isn't it? There's his. Wonder what he's done. So now this Robbie Harvey, we had a look at one of his videos, didn't we? Now I sent him an email and asked if I could use his videos, and he hasn't answered. So I'm not going to use his videos because he might do me for copyright. You know, I'm not saying he will, but he hasn't answered my email to say, unless I get it in writing, I don't want copyright strikes. He may just not have had time to read the email. He's got a massive YouTube channel, might not even read his emails, and I'm sure he's not interested in a little channel like mine. But apparently, now he seems to know people in the area, and he's been told that John Paul Miller is allegedly giving everything away and told them to come and get what they want. So wonder why that is. Do you think he's expecting to go to prison for a long time? Or was he planning to what's the word I'm looking for? Was he planning to, do a flit in his private plane? I mean, I don't know. Just makes you wonder. As I say, we don't know. Yeah, I thought $776 seemed like a funny amount, David, but I don't know. As I say, it's all developing. Let's have a look at these photos. So, yeah, he's just giving away his stuff, apparently. Just said to people, come and get what you want. What's going on, I wonder? So, see this video? This is where you can see he's put on quite a bit of weight.
JP and Susie Skinner.
So this Susie Skinner, she's supposed to be his girlfriend, isn't she? But again, it's alleged. Now, this was November the 3rd. So this was quite a while ago. They were going somewhere, obviously some coffee shop or something.
Right there. Going to the McAllisters. He sees my camera.
So Daddy's going to see him.
Yep.
He's going to have a photo.
What is somebody? I think someone's stalking him there. Let's have a look what Robbie's got to say. Oh, I want to show this video. That's his pinned video. Anyway, we'll see. Just. So what is this? So this seems to be some sort of podcast, doesn't it? All right, they're saying he's saying that he has been released on bond. Yes, $776, David. JP is now out of jail on a $776 bond. I want to be clear, despite reports, there is no evidence of a separate assault on a police officer. Something may come later, but as of now, there's nothing to back that claim. Now, this is the problem as news is coming out and that you can't be certain, you know, of what's... He looks like he's got his pajamas on there, doesn't he? $776. There was a video of it, of some woman shouting at him. This apparently is the video leading to the arrest of JP. Let's have a look.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, y'all. What's going on? JP just touched that.
Is this what it's going to be about? That he touched... So this woman has gone over to him. She's shouting at him, "Don't touch me, don't touch me." Is that what he's been arrested for? Really?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, y'all. What's going on? JP just touched that. JP just touched that girl. Oh my God, y'all. What the f?
Is that really what he's done? Oh, because he touched her.
Whoa. He just touched her. There's John Paul Miller. He's recording us. There he goes. Look at him. Look at him. Wow. Wow. He touched.
It literally, is that what it's about? Let's carry on watching.
Did you fucking touch me? Don't you fucking touch me, you psychopath! Don't you touch me! You touch me! Don't touch me!
You're cracking, JP. The FBI's coming. We told you.
But you know what? I think what JP, he's used to harassing Micah, isn't he? Micah was a different personality. Now he's got his own set of stalkers after so there's definitely a bit of karma going on here. He's got his own load of stalkers now, people stalking him and following him and filming everything he does. And this seems to be what he's been arrested for, touching that woman, which they're calling it assault, but you know, I don't know. I mean, it is assault, I suppose. You're not supposed to touch somebody. But what's ironic is all the times he's stalked, I'm sure it's irritating for him that people are following him around and taking videos of him. But all the times he's sort of followed and stalked Micah, he's getting a bit of karma, isn't he? We'll watch this to the end, then I'll put it on again. Yeah, she's going right in his face. He's filming her, and he must have maybe touched her, shoved her, I don't know. So we're going to watch that again, but I'm just reading some of the comments. She's standing next to her car and he charges at her. I don't see him touching any of them. I don't like the man at all, but stalking him just to get a rise out of him is not necessary. Let the FBI conduct their investigation. So is this what he's been arrested for? Let's watch it again. Oh, come on.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, y'all. What's going on? JP just touched that. JP just touched that girl. Oh my God, y'all. What the f- Whoa. He just touched her. There's John Paul Miller. He's recording us. There he goes. Look at him. Look at him. Wow. Wow. He touched.
Did you fucking touch me? Don't you fucking touch me, psychopath! Don't you touch me! You touch me! Don't touch me!
You're cracking, JP. The FBI's coming. We told you.
They're definitely trying to wind him up, to be fair. But, you know, yeah, he deserves it because he's used to... look at how he harassed Micah. You know, he deserves a bit of harassment himself, doesn't he, really? And, yeah, you're right, David. He doesn't like strong women. He likes women he can manipulate. He met Micah when she was very young, didn't he? And he manipulated her. And he knew she was fragile mentally. And he still, you know, just kept coming for her.
Yeah. Told me. But you...
So let's have a look at this news article. So it's difficult to get full. So let's have a look at this. This is talking about the timeline of events when Micah died. Just to remind ourselves. So this is a timeline of events leading up to the death of Micah.
Sunday, October 8, 2023. Micah Miller and her husband, John Paul Miller, a pastor from Solid Rock Church, filed for divorce. They were married back in 2017. Micah's friend said she had led the women's ministry and worship team at the same church. Thursday, February 8, 2024. Micah's involuntary hospitalized for 48 hours. Wednesday, February 21st, 2024. Michael calls police and alleges her ex-husband stole her car while she was hospitalized. She tells the officer she has known her husband since she was 10 years old and that he, quote, groomed her, end quote, while she...
So 10 years old, and she said to the police that he groomed her.
worked for him at Solid Rock Church until they were wed in 2017. John Paul tells the cops his wife suffers from, quote, episodes, end quote. Since the car's marital property, no charges were filed.
No charges.
Monday, March 11, 2024. 2 incidents are filed with authorities naming Micah as a victim. She calls the police after finding her tire slashed with a piece of metal. It was later identified as a tire deflation device available for purchase online. Mechanics then find a GPS device attached to her car. Wednesday, March 13, 2024. Someone at Solid Rock Church files a police report alleging Micah transferred donation funds from the church's Zelle and Cash App accounts to her personal account. Micah leaves her apartment in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, shortly after noon and heads to a pawn shop to buy a gun. 12:34 p.m. Micah leaves the pawn shop and travels on a highway, stopping at a gas station to buy gas and a drink. She heads toward North Carolina. 2:54 p.m. After about an hour and a half, Micah calls 911 from a park over the state line about 33 miles.
It's good to have this sort of summary of the events because, I've done so many videos about Micah and what happened, but to see it sort of summarized like this by the police is handy, isn't it?
Away from the gas station and says she plans to end her own life.
Tell me what's happened.
I'm about to kill myself, and I just want my family to know where to find me.
3:03 p.m. Deputies with the sheriff's office head to Lumber River State Park, contact the park rangers, and begin a search within 30 minutes. Specialized units searching for Micah from the air are deployed. 3:50 p.m. Detectives are approached by someone fishing in the area who says they heard crying followed by a gunshot. They also found a bag a few feet from the water's edge with Micah's ID inside of it. 4:23 p.m. A kayaker in the area calls 911 to report a body in the water. A perimeter is created to secure the area for an investigation. Within the hour, the chief of detectives arrives and the medical examiner is called. 5:54 p.m. Crime scene investigation technician begins taking photos of the area, and they found Micah's car. Inside the car, investigators found a gun case in the passenger seat and ammunition in the center console. The receipt for the weapon and her gas station stop are found. 7:11 p.m. A gun is discovered in the water at the park. Its serial number matches the case found in Micah's car. Tuesday, May 2nd, 2024. John Paul Miller sits down with WPDE for an interview. During the interview, he mentioned some of the struggles he thought Micah had with mental health.
So over the years since we've been married, some people struggle with high blood pressure, some struggle with diabetes, or struggle with mental health. And whenever she stayed on her lithium, things were amazing.
So he blamed her family, didn't he? Because he said that her family tried to persuade her not to take her lithium for I think she was bipolar. And he blamed it all on the family. So this is what it was, wasn't it? He blamed the family blamed him. Of course, Micah wasn't there to say anything. He was reveling in all the attention. I think he was really happy. Whether he actually, did anything to Micah or not, I don't know. But I do think He drove her to it. If he didn't actually do it, but he definitely drove her to it. And I think he was glad when she died. And the reason I think he was glad when she died was because that he didn't have to worry about her meeting anybody else or going off with anybody else. He's the sort of man, a bit like Adam Fravel. He's just another version of Adam Fravel, isn't he? He didn't want Micah to have a life without him. You know, look at the way he staged this. There, he's got the picture of Micah with the other pastor. You know, he's got the duper's delight face. He's like, oh, well, at least I don't have to worry about Micah, you know, hearing about her being with anyone else now. He's a horrible man. He really is a horrible man, this one.
Come off sometimes, and things would be a little unusual. Per her doctors, they told her even just recently they had written that she was homicidal, suicidal, and she had struggled with suicide before. And each time, you know, helped her through it, took her to her doctor, and we got through it, and everything was fine. And so this past time was still a shock, an incredible shock.
Sunday, May 5th, 2024. Friends and family rally outside Solid Rock Church. Some in Micah's family dispute the manner of death described by her estranged husband.
This has to be at least looked into deeply. There's got to be some accountability here because, it's a tragic life was lost, and it's not just as simple as somebody had some mental issues.
A memorial service honoring her life followed the rally. Monday, May 6, 2024. The medical examiner releases Micah's cause of death. They conclude that she died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Micah's family meets with deputies about the investigation. John Paul asked the sheriff's office to meet with him in South Carolina. The investigation team said they did not plan to cross the state lines.
You know, that's a man who definitely looks like he's hiding something, isn't it? There's something about this guy. God knows, you know, we don't know all the details of why the FBI were there, guns drawn, went to his house, guns drawn to search his house, took out computers, etc. We don't know the ins and outs of that. But you can see that the community is really angry with JP Miller, and that's what those women were doing, probably just like they're trying to antagonize him. They're trying to let him see that they're not letting it go. The police might have decided there's nothing to see here, but that's not what they're determined to just bug the life out of him, and good for them.
Wednesday, May 8th, 2024. Public records requested by WPDE are released, detailing the events leading up to Micah's suicide.
Right, what does that say? It's come to light that Micah Miller struggled with mental illness, specifically bipolar disorder, which, when not properly managed, led to paranoid episodes and self-destructive behaviour. Again, Micah suffered from mental illness, and some reports made by her in the recent past are nonsensical. This unfortunate reality underscores the importance of destigmatizing mental health issues and ensuring those affected receive appropriate support and treatment. And this was Giant Prick's attorney who said this. So, yeah, the thing is, when someone's dead, you know, you can say what you like, really. Everything that John Paul says, Micah can't defend herself. Micah hasn't got a voice anymore. I expect Micah is perfectly happy where she is now, because, I mean, if she did do it to herself, she did want to do it. She was very, very firm believer in the afterlife, etc. She wanted to go to Jesus, didn't she? We saw some of the videos where she said that. If she did it to herself, but you know, there's always going to be that question. There's something here in this. There's definitely something This guy has got so many secrets. And then the attorney said, "We wish to emphasize that after a thorough investigation by the Robeson County, North Carolina Sheriff's Office, it has been conclusively determined that Miss Miller's death was the result of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. This finding completely exonerates Pastor Giant Prick Miller of any wrongdoing. These baseless claims and false reporting have caused immense distress and harm to Pastor Miller and his family and need to stop immediately." Well, what harm did he cause to Micah and her family? Okay. So that's the end. Let's have a look for another news item about him or about the arrest. I think we haven't got all the details at the moment. More details are probably going to come out as time goes on. So might have to carry, you know, I'm probably not going to find anything much different. Let's have a look. Come on. Let's have a look at this. So this is a local, oh, they won't let me, hang on. This is a local newspaper, the Sun News. Protesters killed John Paul Miller's church, the lawyer says, and one claims assault. See video. Let's have a look.
When Miller was confronted by a Justice for Micah protester out, the former pastor of a Myrtle Beach church has been arrested after an apparent disturbance in the Market Common area. Miller was charged by police with third-degree assault and battery. He appeared before a judge where he was given a $776 bond and was released. Apparently, the assault occurred when Miller was confronted by a Justice for Micah protester outside his Solid Rock church. Miller was
So it was a Justice for Micah protester.
approached by one of the protesters who began to follow him as he walked away. Then Miller allegedly tapped his phone on the protester's hat. Protesters were also at the hearing, including the woman who was allegedly assaulted.
So they said he tapped his phone on the protester's hat.
You are in my personal. Did you touch me? Don't you
Oh, he sort of banged her on the head with his phone, tapped. Well, not banged, tapped. And she's gone to the police, and that is assault. You can't do that.
Russell Long, Miller's attorney, said the protesters have been stalking and harassing Miller for months and blames the city of Myrtle Beach for allowing them to be there. Miller has been involved in controversy since the death of his wife, Micah Miller, had committed suicide in a North Carolina state park, reported by the Sun News back in May. Since her death, Miller has been accused of abusing his wife and contributing to her death. Miller has denied abusing his wife and allegations that he had any role in her death. A group of protesters have gathered outside Solid Rock Church every Sunday since May, demanding justice for Micah and for J.P. Miller to be arrested. They have been at the site more recently after the church closed and the FBI searched Miller's home. The FBI has not released information on why officers were searching the residential home. I'm Kara Ellis. For more updates on this story, go to myrtlebeachonline.com.
Yeah.
John
So,
Paul Miller, the
that
former
seems to
pastor of
be-
the Myrtle Beach
oh.
Church, has been
My
arrested
computer's
after
not working properly. That's more or less what we know. That's where we are with this so far. So we you know, if I get any updates, I will let you know. Obviously, I'll just have one more look on Twitter to make sure there's nothing on there. But I think that might be all we'll get for now about that. Yeah, just keeps coming out now on all the other news. It goes on the social media first, and now the other news channels are coming out with it. Okay, so what do we think about that? So we still don't know why actually the FBI raided his home. You know, and they're saying now this thing that's happened today is unrelated to Micah Miller. But it is related to Micah, of course, really, because those protesters, they wouldn't be there, would they, if it weren't for, you know, they've obviously decided they're not going to let it go. They're going to keep turning up at that church forever, you know, as long, and, you know, I think the church is suffering because of it. But anyway. Now then. So what I'm going to look at now, so if I hear any updates or anything, I'll let you know, but I just wanted to let you know about what had happened, about John Paul being arrested. It's good to see him be arrested. You know, who knows what will happen with that, but it's just nice to see him. Just nice to see him in the police station, isn't it? And nice to see him when everything's, you know, he's not so smug and, you know, self-assured now. Not everything's going so well for him now, is it? Now, what I want to look at just before I finish is these remains. Have this story from Bristol. These human remains that have been found in Bristol. Let's have a look at that. Is it possible that there's something to do with Jack, or maybe they're nothing to do with Jack? Jack O'Sullivan. So for those again of you that watch my channel regularly, you'll know about Jack O'Sullivan. He came out of a party quite a long time ago now, wasn't it? Back in March, I think. Went to a party with his friends, a midweek party. Came out, tried to get a taxi, couldn't get a taxi, texted his mum to say he was going to try and get a taxi. He didn't need a lift. When his mum got up in the morning, he still hadn't come home. And since then, apart from on the CCTV from that evening, Jack O'Sullivan has never been seen anywhere. So where is he? What happened to him? Did he, as the police interfered, there's a lot of water around there, around Bristol, the River Avon, what was it called? There's a basin, or so. Anyway, there's lots of water around. So the police seem convinced that he fell in the water. His mum has been doing a lot of her own detective work on finding out what happened to her son. She was like really disappointed in the police response. She said they missed CCTV that she found. You know, again, I've done several, every now and again I do an update about Jack O'Sullivan, but unfortunately there's never really been any new news, you know, nothing. You know, Jack's mum, I just think she must be desperate now, and here we are coming up to Christmas and she still doesn't know what has happened to her son, does she? So let me just tell you about these remains that have been found, and then we'll have a look at Jack again. So now, I don't know Bristol. Bristol is in the UK, in the south, more or less, isn't it, of the UK? I don't know if anybody's out there who's watching this video maybe know the area a bit more. Is this near? Is this nearby where Jack disappeared? So mystery swirls as human remains are found by a horrified dog walker in a field near a school as cops scour the stream for clues. So they've got the underwater search teams out now. Let's have a look at this video.
Mystery surrounds the discovery of human remains by a dog walker close to a quiet cul-de-sac. The tragic find was made near a field near Lyde Green, Bristol, on Tuesday morning. The remains, said to be decomposed and skeletal, were found by a local man walking his dog.
So decomposed and skeletal. She means skeletal, do you think? So decomposed and skeletal. You know, I don't know if Jack disappeared I don't know that this is Jack, and it's perhaps a bit, I don't want to cause any offence to Jack's mum by discussing this. But, you know, it's obviously, if it's in Bristol and Jack went missing in Bristol in March, you know, I'm no expert on decomposition and that, so I have no idea what sort of state you could expect his body to be in. But it's sort of like, I mean, obviously it'd be awful if it was Jack, because, you know, because he'd be deceased and Jack's mum would know he was never coming back. But then there's another way that you just think, gosh, at least she would know what had happened to him, because I think Jack's mum, I've noticed on her Facebook posts, you know, I think in the beginning she was determined that she was going to find out what had happened to Jack, and then the media, the mainstream media, took sort of the case up a bit, because at first there wasn't really any coverage of Jack's disappearance, and you know, the mainstream media literally can't cover every missing person, and sometimes, but then the people that are helping Kathy with the Facebook, etc., they seem to, you know, there seem to be attractions started to happen, and she's now been on Good Morning Britain and all those sort of usual sort of radio programs, TV programs, Crime Watch, etc. And that's good because it raised awareness, but that also must have been very deflating when, even after all that, it hasn't resulted in any more information about what happened to Jack. There's something has happened to Jack. You know, he's somewhere. So anyway, let's see what Amelia's got to say.
Before police rushed to the scene shortly after midday. A police cordon has been put in place since, with divers in wetsuits scouring a stream that runs through the field on Wednesday. An underwater search unit vehicle was also pictured at the scene. Locals have described how their usually quiet street has been non-stop as police units continue to probe the grim find. One said, when the guy went over to see what his dog was doing, it became obvious that the animal had discovered human remains partially buried in the field. It must have been absolutely awful for the man. Police are not telling us anything at the moment, but we're all in a state of high anxiety while we await more news.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the police can't say anything yet, can they? Because they don't know anything. I mean, I don't think they've even released whether it's a man or a woman. What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, yeah, they said partially buried, didn't they? So whoever it is, if they were partially buried, that sounds like foul play, doesn't it? Does it? You know, somebody doesn't just bury themselves. So it doesn't sound like... no, natural death. It's not going to be one of those the police saying, oh, the police say no foul play is suspected. That's what we normally hear, don't we, about everything? And then you always think, is there no foul play or what, you know? But anyway, so partially buried. So that's got to suggest some foul play, hasn't it? Surely. And if it's not Jack O'Sullivan, it's some poor soul. Some family's going to get some answers one way or another. If it's not Jack, it is somebody. So some family somewhere is going to get sad news, but also at least some answers.
Spokesman for Avon and Somerset Police confirmed human remains had been found on Tuesday. A statement added, police and fire crews attended, and further searches will be carried out today. Detectives have not yet been able to identify the remains, and the death is currently being treated as unexplained, pending a forensic post-mortem examination.
Yeah, so will it be Jack? Let's look for another... Let's look for another article. Let's have a look at, so we've had a look at the Sun. Let's have a look at what the BBC says. So, suspected human remains have been found in a field on the outskirts of Bristol. Lyde Green. I wonder if I can get, let's have a look. Lyde Green. If I can get it up on Google Maps and maybe we can see how far away it is from where Jack went missing. Oop. Now, Jack went missing. Right, let me just show you this map. So, Lyde Green play area. This is where the remains have been found. I'm just trying to work out where that is in context to where Jack went missing, which was, hang on, let me, oh, what was it called? Hotwells, wasn't it? The party that Jack attended was at Hotwells. I don't know where that is in context to this. Let's see. I mean, in a way, it doesn't matter because he could have been taken there from anywhere, couldn't he, really? But where's the sea and that? So he went missing from the centre, didn't he? Right, I'm going to have to do like a Lyde Green to Hotwells. Ah. Yeah, so it's quite a way. You can see that, can't we? Let me just come back and check. So it's a bit of a distance. Hi, Amethyst. My toe, Heather, was getting better, but then, this morning it was really bad again, but I've soaked it today and he's feeling a little bit better again, but apparently 4 to 6 weeks it could take before it's, all better. But anyway, so yeah, let's have a look at this. So can I make that bigger? So it's 24 minutes away in a car. So Jack went missing around this area, Hotwells area, town centre, and these human remains have been found quite a little way away in Lyde Green. But if it was foul play, if what happened to Jack, well, it wouldn't matter. They could have dumped these remains anywhere, couldn't they? So. Yeah, so I expect Jack's mum is paying a lot of attention to this, and I hope the police are in contact with her, you know, updating her. Now I'm having a look at the Facebook page now, see if they're still mentioning it or not. Now, as far as I know, the Facebook page haven't mentioned this find at all yet. No. Sometimes people are putting, you know, mentioning it on the, what's the word, the in comments. People are mentioning it, but there's no post there about it. So this is Jack. For those of you, if any of you haven't seen, this is Jack O'Sullivan. I think he's 22. Well, he's 23 now. He was 22 when he went missing. And he vanished without a trace in the early hours of March the 2nd, 2024. Now, the police have searched for him in the rivers, you know, but we know how difficult it is, don't we, for bodies don't seem to want to come to light, do they? You know, can take so long to find bodies, if ever, you know, and it's quite large bodies of water nearby where Jack went missing. I think, you know, it's a shame, but after all this time, it's difficult to imagine a positive outcome for this case. But it's possible. It's always possible that Jack might have been taken somewhere against his will and he might be alive and well, or he may have even gone off himself. I mean, it's not beyond the realms of possibility, though it does seem that Jack is not that type of boy, you know. But who knows what type of boy is it that would do that? You just don't know. So, yeah, let's just read this. The disappearance of Jack O'Sullivan in Bristol, a promising law graduate, has cast a long shadow over the city of Bristol. Vanishing without a trace in the early hours of March the 2nd, his case has gripped the nation, sparking countless searches, theories, and an unwavering determination to uncover the truth. And the last confirmed sighting of Jack places him near the Cumberland Basin, a complex network of waterways and roads. And it is, I mean, we followed that video that his mum made of Jack's last known walk. And it's like, you know, your typical sort of town centre, spaghetti roads, but there's also a lot of water around there, waterways. So this location has become a focal point in the investigation as police and volunteers comb the area for any clues that might shed light on his disappearance. Oh, bless. Jack's family have been at the heart of the search, their unwavering hope and resilience, inspiring a community to rally behind them. Their public appeals for information have kept this case in the spotlight, generating widespread support and involvement from the public. The police investigation has been meticulous, involving extensive searches, analysis of CCTV footage, and interviews with countless individuals. And despite these efforts, the mystery surrounding Jack's disappearance remains unsolved. This case has also prompted a wider conversation about missing persons and the challenges faced by families in such situations. Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, your heart breaks for these families that just don't. It's bad enough when, you know, your child maybe has been murdered or, you know, in an accident, or, you know, those things are terrible. But to never know, it's got to be the worst thing, hasn't it, for a child to just disappear? And when I say child, I know Jack's an adult, but he's still Kathy's child, Kathy's baby. You know, that never changes. So it's highlighted the importance of community support, the role of technology and the need for awareness and vigilance. So I'm not going to read the whole thing out because we've looked at the, you know, there's quite, I'll try and remember to put a link to the other videos in. So I've been doing an update on Jack nearly every week. I've been trying to keep, you know, keep talking about it here. Oh, that was his last CCTV thing. Yeah. What is the latest update? There are no updates. Yeah, now Jack's mum was getting very frustrated with the police because they wouldn't give her phone information. There was other information. She said they're not telling her enough, etc. And she wasn't trusting that they were checking CCTV properly and stuff like that. Now, we don't know what the police believe. I mean, for the police, it is an ongoing investigation. Do the police believe that there is foul play? Or do they believe that he's gone into the river? You know, the trouble is when it's an ongoing investigation, we won't find out what the police really think, will we? You know, and even the family don't get to find that out until, you know, something concrete is known. So anyway, I'm going to go back to the Facebook because I want to see. I was just trying to see what Kathy's last post was. Yeah, Catherine O'Sullivan. Yesterday, Kathy posted on her own Facebook, "Where is my son Jack?" Let me just show this, actually, I'm sure she won't mind. "Where is my son Jack? Please help us find him. If you have information as to where Jack might be, please let someone know. Help us bring Jack home. Thank you." Gosh, so very sad, isn't it? You know, oh, just can't imagine it. Just don't want to imagine it. So that's where we are with that. I just thought I'd tell you about that. Yeah, lots of hi Claire. You know, lots to come out here until we know. You know, we don't even know if it's. Oh, left Nightbot. Didn't say hello to Nightbot. Hi Nightbot. Until we know more about the remains. So they've not even released if it's a man or a woman. All they've said is that they're skeletal remains or decomposing skeletal remains. So I don't know whether that means that it might be Jack or not. I really don't know. I think there's a possibility it could be Jack. Bless him. Sorry, I'm just reading through the chat now. Are you not well, Katrina? Hi, Darren. Oh, you've had a chest infection. Oh, bless. Oh, I hope you're feeling better then. It's the time of year, I suppose, over there, isn't it? For chest infections and, you know, flu and stuff like that. So, Claire, you were asking about Jay Slater's inquest. Yeah, he's definitely having an inquest, but I don't think we've got a date yet, as far as I know. We'll check that actually tomorrow to see if a date has come up or not, but I'm sure if a date had come up, somebody would have reported it somewhere. But anyway, I think they're still waiting. The Spanish authorities haven't quite finished yet, I don't think. I don't know, but there will be a British inquest, definitely. But when, I think it'll probably be in the new year now, to be honest. Yeah, Lorna, you're right. These are another 2 cases that we've been waiting for news in. Samantha Murphy and Anna Knezovich. They haven't been found, have they? Because Samantha, her murderer, is in custody. He's got a court hearing coming up sometime in November. I think it's around about the 19th of November. Patrick has got a court hearing coming up. So I'll definitely be covering that when that comes up. Now, as Anna Knezovich, oh gosh, it's so frustrating. I wish they could find her, because that David, I need to do an update on that actually. David Knezovich, he's in prison, isn't he, in Florida? He's trying to get bail. Let me just have a look, just see if there's any updates on him. He's another knob, isn't he? Knezovich trial. Yeah, apparently he's demanding his release. Kidnapping suspects. He's only been charged with kidnapping, David Knezovich, because they haven't found Anna's body. So they haven't charged him with murder yet. I mean, they can still charge him with murder even without a body, but they've not done yet. He's only charged with kidnapping, and he's demanding to be released, or he was a month ago or a couple of months ago, and he's challenging the jurisdiction of the US. He's challenging the prosecution in the US. Now, of course, he won't want to be prosecuted in the US, will he? Because it's death penalty state, Florida. So he'll want to be tried in Spain if he's going to be tried, or Serbia, I suppose. I don't know. I don't think Serbia's got the death sentence. I don't think they've got the death penalty in Serbia. Let's just have a look. Looked at Anna for ages, so let's have a look at let's just have a look at this video. Just remember her a bit. She's another one. They all look similar, these girls. Madeline Kingsbury, Anna Knezovich.
I feel like I'm living in a dream, like I'm in a nightmare. Obviously, the worst crisis of my life.
A bombshell break in the case of an American missing overseas. Months after Anna Knezovich disappeared in Spain, her estranged husband is arrested in Miami.
It's going to take some time for them to basically retrace everything that happened and see what kind of evidence would be proof to prove someone's guilt.
So what's ahead for the investigation?
That always becomes an interesting aspect of any criminal case where they're alleging a murder, yet they haven't recovered the body.
And what are those closest to Anna saying now?
That we miss her and that we love her.
This is a story Law and Crime has been following since February, when 40-year-old Anna Knezovich was last seen on February 2nd. Anna is originally from Colombia, but is an American citizen who was based in Florida. At the time of her disappearance, she was renting out an apartment in Madrid, Spain, while in the midst of a tumultuous divorce. Anna's husband of 13 years is David Knezovich, who we'll get to shortly. But before we ever heard David's name, we heard Anna's, when her best friend sounded the alarm that something was off.
She wouldn't meet a man in the street and say that she's going to go away for a few days. Like that's not Anna. That is definitely not my friend.
That's Sana Ramo, who spoke with Law and Crime back in February. She says Anna was last seen by a neighbor at the apartment she was renting in Madrid. Anna spoke to a friend on the phone at about 10 o'clock that night and hasn't been heard from since. The next day, Sana received a series of strange texts from Anna's phone. She shared the messages with Law and Crime. They read in part, quote, "I met someone wonderful. He has a summer house about 2 hours from Madrid. We are going there now, and I will spend a few days there. Signal is spotty. I'll call you when I get back.
Logistically, it didn't even make sense because she had those plans to go to Barcelona early Monday morning. So she would not leave Madrid Saturday afternoon and state that she would be away for several days when she has already made plans to go to Barcelona Monday morning. Like that didn't even make sense. So all of these things got me concerned immediately.
And the message itself just didn't sound like Anna.
She doesn't do those things. It was worded very differently than how she writes.
It's the same story from Anna's family. They didn't want to speak on camera, but shared a screenshot of the message with us. Anna's brother told us the message is in Spanish, but says it isn't in the dialect Anna would have used. He says it seems like someone wrote up the message in one language and used Google Translate to convert it to Spanish. All this leads us to February 4th, when a wellness check was performed at Anna's apartment, but there was no sign of her.
She was not in her home, and the door was locked from the outside. Now, there were no obvious signs of violence or anything that happened inside of the apartment, but the mission of the fire department was to just check if there was an injured person. They don't do any investigation for more than that, and they just looked and then they left.
But the mystery continued when investigators announced someone was seen near Anna's apartment the night she went missing, wearing a helmet and spray painting security cameras. All this brings us back to David Knežević, Anna's estranged husband. When we spoke to Sana in February, she told us she'd been in contact with David after.
Do you know, this case, whenever I see it's like something, if it was in a film, you would think it was too far-fetched. You know, he goes there all the way from Serbia, he rents a car, he drives all the way to Madrid, allegedly. He buys a can of black spray paint, he wears a motorcycle helmet, sprays the CCTV with the black spray paint, but it's clear who he is. You can see as clear as day it's him. You know, it's just like something off some terrible, like it's almost like something off Murder, She Wrote, or, you know, some really rubbish detective program that it would be really far-fetched, but it's true. And Sana, her friend, she's so lovely. We've had messages going between us. She is distraught now. I mean, in fact, I haven't sort of spoken to her for a while. So, you know, I just don't know what to say until Anna's found.
Anna went missing.
Well, I've been in contact with him. I was in contact with him throughout the week, last week. I believe the last time I spoke to him was on Saturday. Police did speak to him in Madrid. I went to Madrid on February 8th. And next day on the 9th, when I went to the police station, they did, I contacted him from there. And then he called back and they made contact with him to ask about his whereabouts.
And he has no idea where Anna may be?
He says he has no idea. No, he doesn't know where Anna is.
Our next update of Anna's case comes in April, when reports circulated that David refused to take a polygraph test. David is originally from Serbia and was apparently there around the time Anna disappeared. However, he retained a Florida-based attorney after her disappearance. In a statement, David's attorney said he has, quote, spoken to the police a number of times. I have reached out to the FBI and let them know that we are available to aid in any way.
Yeah, do you remember that? We watched his lawyer was there on, you know, on all these like court TV and this, that, and the other, saying, no, he's got no reason to go to Spain. Why would he go to Spain? You know, again, I think, you know, totally underestimating the Spanish authorities and that they knew. Oh, hang on, my phone's ringing. One sec. I'll just play that.
Meaning David has given police information on credit cards, attempted to hire a lawyer in Spain. Now jump to May 4th when David is arrested at the airport in Miami. He just flown in from Belgrade, Serbia. To understand David's arrest and where the case is headed, I sat down with defense attorney Mike Korbanix.
It's a very interesting case. My first thoughts are, it's going to be difficult to get all the evidence together because you're talking about two separate countries. And this doesn't have to do about politics or anything of that nature. It's just the physicality of preparing a defense or a prosecution is interviewing witnesses. How are you going to collect all the information? So and you have to travel all this distance to do it. Although everybody thinks technology cures everything, it really doesn't when you have to.
Okay, so sorry, I've got to finish because I've just had a phone call from number one's son and he's finishing earlier today. So I've got to go and get him. So I'm so sorry, I've got to cut this short. See you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you. Adios.